What's up, my Central Unit Galaxy? It's Essential Man here. So this is my review of WCW's Monday Nitro for the 12th of February 1996. This is the aftermath show from Super Bowl 6. I covered that pay-per-view a couple of days ago on this channel. Go and check it out. So the show was in Tampa, Florida. It starts with the opening match. We got Randy Savage taking on Hugh Morris, the future Hugh G. Erection, part of the Misfits in Action. At the time, he's now part of the Dungeon of Doom. Filler match, and this is the theme for this Nitro. There were a lot of filler. Nothing to talk about the opener. Hugh Morris has some offense. He's trying to hit Randy Savage with the moonsault. Savage got out of the way, hit not one but two diving elbows off the top rope to win this match, and afterwards he grabbed the mic and said, "I want Ric Flair," because of the World Title match at Super Brawl, in the steel cage match between Randy Savage and Ric Flair, when Miss Elizabeth turned on the Macho Man to team up and join up with Ric Flair. It's funny that on the previous week's Nitro, the go-home show to Nitro, before Super Bowl 6, you had a woman who was Randy Savage's corner, turned on the Macho Man. That's on the go-home show to Super Bowl. And then 6 days later at the pay-per-view, Liz turned on Randy Savage to join up with Ric Flair and Arn Anderson, the three horsemen at this moment of time. Not four, because Brian Pillman got fired after the I Respect You strap match with Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster. Go and check out my review of Super Bowl 6. So yeah, you got just Flair, Arn, Benoit, and woman that is formerly known as Nancy Benoit. Now, at the time, she is married to Kevin Sullivan, and now Miss Elizabeth. We will see the women, Liz and woman later on this episode of Nitro. Anyway, so we got a filler segment with Gene Oakland interviewing Steve Grissom. Never heard about this guy. Never heard. He's kind of a race car driver. I don't know. He's part of NASCAR in America. There was footage of a driver driving a race car with a WCW logo. Why they show that? I don't want to get into it. Moving on to the next match. The next match we got Scotty Riggs, one half of the American Males, taking on Loch Ness. Loch Ness is formerly known as Giant Haystacks for you old school British wrestling fans, with Jimmy Hart in his corner. Loch Ness debut at Super Bowl 6 after the main event between Hulk Hogan and the Giant. He was a famous British wrestler, wrestled in 70s, 80s, a little bit in the 90s. I think he died in 97. I'm talking about Giant Haystacks. I don't know about his height. I think he's about between 6'5" until 7 feet tall. I think he's 7 feet tall. His build weight for his run in WCW, I think he's built around about 700 plus pounds. He was a really fat dude. This is before my time. This match between him and Scotty Riggs, this is my first exposure to Giant Haystacks. This is before my time. I hate to speak ill of the dead, but I think he died in 97. I looked up on Wikipedia. I think he died in 97. He died in the 90s. Maybe in the 2000s, not 100% sure. Yeah, I hate to speak ill of the dead. Giant Haystacks, Loch Ness, he's not that good. He was there for his size. He's tall and fat, but he's not that good. In this match, every time Scotty Riggs trying to hit a move, and he's not selling the moves. Riggs hit two drop kicks, one normal and one off the top rope. He was going for a crossbody. Loch Ness, Giant Haystacks trying to pick him up, but instead he couldn't. It was one botch. I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm stumbling. Riggs trying to go for the crossbody. Haystacks, Loch Ness trying to catch him, but he couldn't. He fell on him. That is fucking terrible. I think he was exposed in this match. He was fucking exposed. I think it was in his run in WCW. In the end, he hit like 2 elbow drops to win this match. I know it's a squash match, but he's just not good in the ring, Giant Haystacks. He was there for his size and just for his size, but as an in-ring competitor, he's not that good. He's just unmobile. He's barely moved. He's just like a walking statue. Yeah, sadly he died not too long ago. He died not too long ago, but died shortly, probably in '97. It's a shame. I think it has to do with his weight. He's about fucking 700 pounds. He's like, Jesus Christ. I don't know why, and he's not, no one didn't react to him because I think, if it's right now, people will probably look up his name on Wikipedia, but back then, no one knows who is Giant Haystacks. If it was in Britain, maybe you might get some reaction because everyone knows who he is, but in America, no one knows who the fuck he is. And because at the time, the internet was probably months old. Anyway, so moving on to the saving grace of this Nitro. We got Mean Oakland interviewing woman. Actually, he didn't interview woman, but Miss Elizabeth and Ric Flair. They were pulling out a gurney. Yeah, that's in American terms for stretcher because, Liz says, Randy Savage says in his words that someone's gonna leave the arena on a gurney, and then you got Ric Flair on the gurney, said having a cat nap, and Ric Flair was super nature boy. He was wooing, strutting, styling, profiling. You had woman and Liz holding his arms, doing the strut. Ric Flair was Ric Flair, man. He said about it's not so easy to be the nature boy. And also he said this is the words he said about like, no matter a woman sometimes say eloquently to be heard. And Miss Liz's promo work she got an okay promo. She's not really a talker. I don't think she didn't really talk in the WWF, but in WCW she was not too bad as a talker. She said about for 7 years I walked behind Randy Savage, sit in the corner, not talking. I think she said about taking half his property and his money. The world title's obsessed with him, or he's more important to him. And he said to Savage, "You're over the hill." And she was not too bad. It's a shame that she never got a chance to develop her character. I know she was over, but if WWF or WCW give more time to let her talk, she might be. I'm not saying she's going to be a good women's wrestler, but she's not really a women's wrestler. But she's could be. You can tell she's okay in the mic. I'm not saying she's great, but in this segment, she cut fine promo. Said about like sick of Randy Savage. Because it's really funny that 7 years ago in the feud between Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan in the World Wrestling Federation, you got Randy Savage kicking Elizabeth in the curb, and then 7 years later, in WCW, it's Liz finally kicking Randy Savage in the curb. So it's not last time we see Woman and Liz and Flair on this show. So she cut a fine promo. Ric Flair is Ric Flair, in those 90s. I think those 90s Ric Flair's promos were fucking. He's full of charisma and personality. He still is to this day, I think it will, because I think he's old back then. He's older. He's older right now because he's in his 70s. I think back then he was in his 40s, pushing 50. He's still like full of charisma, personality, and energy. I kind of like Ric Flair. Sometimes I don't mind Ric Flair. He's okay. Okay in the ring, really good talker. He's earned people's rights to become a legend. Good in the ring, good in the mic. Anyway, so moving on to the next match. The next match we got Conan taking on Dangerous Devon Storm, and surprisingly, this was a good match. It wasn't. It was a bit filler, but a lot of like cruiserweight moves. It's really funny that months later, WCW started the cruiserweight division. There were a lot of fast-paced moves. Like arm drags, suplex, Storm did like a springboard senton off the top rope onto Conan. He was setting up like a spot, like he plays like a still steps. He's trying to leap onto the still steps and trying to hit like a leg drop, not leg drop. I think it was a guillotine onto Conan while sitting on the chair, but Conan hit like a crappy looking power bomb. It's really good, fast pace. I think he hit like a roundhouse kick or enziguri off the ropes. In the end, Storm was going for like a power bomb, but instead Conan counted into a no, he's going for like a Storm was going for like a Hurricanrana, but he got countered by Conan. Hit Storm with the power bomb and pinned him with a bridge suplex pin to win this match. Conan was the United States champion at the time. Storm didn't do much in WCW. I think it has to do with his gimmick. He's wearing like a goofy looking costume. Storm, he had a decent performance against Conan. It's a shame, like, if he changed up his gimmick and change up his attire a little bit, he might be, another guy in the Cruiserweight division, can probably hang with the Rey Mysterios, Eddie Guerreros, the Juventud Guerreros, but unfortunately, I think he got released. Some people have it, others don't. Anyway, move on to the main event. The main event, we got Hulk Hogan taking on Arn Anderson. Keep it short and simple. Okay match. One more of the match, Hogan hit Arn Anderson with he catapult Arn Anderson in the ring pose. Sadly, no blood. The ending was overbooked as fucked. With Ric Flair, Miss Elizabeth, woman, screaming. This is a decade before Melina using the screaming gimmick to get over. One more of the match, you had Hogan locked Arn Anderson with the figure four leg lock, and then Flair trying to attack Hogan, trying to break up the submission hold. Play out of the Horseman's rule box. Hogan at the same time locking in the submission hold. Also rolled up Ric Flair with a small package. It was really overbooked as fucked. In the end, woman hit he hit Hogan with the white powder, and Arn Anderson picked up the victory, an upset victory, but it was overbooked as fucked. Afterwards, Hogan got his heat back, beating down the heels, hit Flair and Anderson with the knockers, Savage joining the fight. Then they ran towards the commentary area, and basically, Flair said about, like, we got the girls, we got the world title, we've got Hogan on the run. Anderson says, Arn Anderson said about, like, the sky's not falling, it's not the end of time. I beat the incredible, great Hulk Hogan. I did it once, I did it again. And then Hogan chased after Flair, Anderson into the commentary area. He took off Bobby Heenan's headphones because Hogan and Heenan, they had history, because Heenan, his character, hates Hulk Hogan because going back to the days in the 1980s in the World Wrestling Federation. He said, I said that because looks like the following week's episode Nitro, they got a rematch. You got Hogan versus Arn Anderson, Flair versus Savage for the world title. And they did like some reference like Helcher's sketches. And also Hogan says, no more Mr. Nice Guy, and that was the end. Anyway, so my final rating for this Nitro, this is a filler show. Filler. No good matches. The opener, Loch Ness versus Sky Riggs. Instead of the Conan versus Devon Storm, the main event was okay. This was filler as fuck.